guys, so today I just wanted to do a University of Iowa recruitment slash rush process video. So I know that I've watched lots of these, and when I was a senior in high school coming into my freshman year of college, I was constantly looking over the summer for rush videos at the University of Iowa, and I really couldn't find any. I could find them for every other university, but I could not for the University of Iowa, and it made me so upset because I just wanted to know what their process was going to be like. So recently, I've just had a couple people ask me some questions, even from like my hometown, and I just thought I'd make this video just to help everybody kind of get a better idea of what to expect. So I just kind of want to start with my experience and why I joined it personally. So I actually kind of always knew I wanted to join a sorority. I feel like I just thought it was like a really like girly girl thing to do. I was like a cheerleader and on dance team for a year in high school, and so I was always kind of hanging out with the girls, and I wasn't really like a big sports person or anything. So I think I had a different idea of what Greek life was based on movies and like stereotypes and stuff like that than what it actually is now. So I thought it was going to be super easy. You kind of got to pick what sorority you wanted to be in as long as you paid. I didn't think it was going to be a lot of money. I'm just kind of here to share my personal experience. So I'm not from Iowa City, so I didn't really know a lot about the sorority houses, and I didn't know every single sorority house obviously has like a reputation, and they all have different philanthropies, and everybody has like different aspects to their house. So coming into this, I didn't really know a lot of the sororities. I obviously watched other YouTubers, and I know some that are in Alpha Phi. I know some that are in like Delta Zeta. Like I know some that are in Delta Gamma. So I never really thought that I would end up in Pi Phi, because I think since I watched that, I was like, oh, like I can just pay and I can be in like Alpha Phi, or I can just pay and I can be in this. But it's actually a huge long process, so that's what I'm here to explain. So recruitment is actually like this whole, it's called Rush Week, and everybody knows about it. It's in the very beginning of the school year, in the fall season, and so everybody is supposed to sign up online actually over the summer. So I signed up like right after I graduated from high school that summer, right before I came to the University of Iowa. So pretty much the beginning of this year actually. I signed up online, and there is an application fee. I think it was like around $100, which is kind of pricey, but you pretty much just fill out your information, and then you do have to submit a photo of yourself. Just like I just submitted like my profile picture on Twitter or something. Like it wasn't anything intense. And then you kind of just talk about like if you're a legacy, and a legacy is somebody who either had, I think it's like a sister, a grandma, or a mom in a sorority, and that doesn't give anybody really any advantage. Everybody gets an equal chance at this whole rush process, and so I pretty much came into this very open-minded because I did not know a lot about the sorority houses at all. I honestly didn't even know half the names. Like I'm in Pi Beta Phi right now, and I didn't even know that existed before I came here. I had never even heard of it, but now obviously I've heard of it, and I love it. But anyways, so everybody gets paired with a Rho Gamma, and a Rho Gamma is a girl who is in a sorority, but during that rush week, they disaffiliate from their sorority, and they become your mentor almost. They pretty much lead around your group, and your groups are by last names. So my last name is Nielsen, so it starts with an N, so I was with a bunch of other girls that started with like N's and O's for their last name. And pretty much they lead around your group, and they kind of just are there to give you advice and help you through the process if you have questions and stuff like that. And they're supposed to be very unbiased, which mine was very unbiased. They were actually a huge help during the whole entire thing, and I'm so glad we were able to have them. Anyways, so every single girl that rushes, you have to visit every single house. We have 14 houses here, I think, at the University of Iowa, and so we have different rounds. So this actually was for 2 weekends. So the first weekend, for 2 days, it was called, I literally have my note card with a bunch of notes written down so I know what to talk about. So these first 2 days were called Meet the Chapters. So you go to like 7 and 7 chapters. So 7 on the first day, 7 on the second day. And this is kind of just where you go in, you kind of tell them about yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of those days, go to your designated location, and you would have to go on the computer, enter like your name or your information, and then you would have to rate the houses. So like top being like your favorite house, and like bottom being like your least favorite, or the ones that you like didn't feel as comfortable, or like you didn't feel like you were bonding with. So it slowly narrowed down. So I think it went from 14, and then it narrowed down to 10 chapters. Or not 10 chapters ever had to ask you back. So like maybe I would only get asked back to 8, or maybe I did get asked back to all 10. I honestly don't remember how many I got asked back to. But so then when that gets narrowed down, that next round is called Welcome Back. The next time it would get narrowed down to 6, but maybe like I would only get asked back to 4 instead of all 6 or something like that. And that round is called Sisterhood. Like obviously these get more intense and also more like formal. So I started out with wearing, when you sign up, that $100 does go towards something. You get a water bottle that said like University of Iowa Rush, I think, or Greek Life or something like that. And then I also got 2 t-shirts. I got this like slouchy off the shoulder one that says Greek Life on it, and then I got this other one that I think says like Panhellenic Council or something, which is the overall. Panhellenic is like overall of sororities. And then the last round you get asked back to 2 houses, and this is called Pref Round, and this stands for Preference Round. And it is your like last one before bid day, and bid day is like the big thing, but I'll get into that later obviously. But anyways, so pretty much what happens is, I'm gonna set this down. So you go to each sorority house and you have to stand outside on their sidewalk, and you stand alphabetical order, and everybody has their like little lanyard name tags on. So it would say like Jordy Nielsen, and then on the back it would say like my group number or something. Like it would just say something small like that, and just let everybody know your name. So everything is very uniform and put together. You could tell that every single sorority has practiced a lot. They're all like in sync. Like it's kind of intimidating and kind of scary because it looks like a cult. Like you're like, what am I getting myself into? And they all come out singing, and they're super happy, and it is kind of scary and interesting, but I enjoyed it. I don't know, I know some girls were kind of freaked out, but I thought it was fun. Anyways, so they'll come out, and it'll usually be the chapter's president and the chapter's vice president, and they'll walk on out to you guys. They'll be very proper, and they'll say something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm the chapter president of Pi Beta Phi," and then the other one will be like, "Hi, I'm the vice president of Pi Beta Phi," and then they'll say, "Welcome," and then they'll welcome you into the house. So everybody, starting from the beginning of the alphabetical part of the group until the end, that little like line will just follow them in or whatever, and you'll get paired up with some girl in the house, and you'll walk off to like a random section of the house, and you will pretty much just sit there and talk the whole entire time. I think it starts with like 15 minutes, I think, is welcome back, or like 20, and then obviously as you keep getting asked back to houses, which means they like you, and so they want to obviously talk to you more and get to know you more, so you have like a longer amount of time with them. I think it gets up to like 25 or 30 minutes or something like that. But it's definitely nothing to be stressed about. I remember some of my conversations were very awkward. Like I walked in and you could just tell that we weren't, like, not by like looks or anything, but like, I don't know, you could just tell that we weren't gonna bond, or like that we didn't really have that like vibe. But then some houses, like, you could tell immediately, like you could honestly talk to them for hours, and it was like so much fun. Like you didn't get bored of them, and you just, like, your conversation was constantly very fluent. And so I really enjoyed that whole, I like the talking aspect. I enjoy talking. I'm not really usually a shy person. I know some people hated trying to keep the conversation, and the thing is though, throughout the day it'll get so repetitive, because you'll go to one sorority and the first girl will pull you along, introduce herself, you'll introduce yourself, you'll go and sit down, she'll go, "How's recruitment going?" And you'll be like, "Good, like it's going," and every single sorority will literally ask you, or every single person will ask you first, "How's recruitment going? How's recruitment going?" Like that's the only question you'll get. And then for the welcome rounds, they don't really know a lot about you, obviously. So they'll ask, like, what do you like to do in your free time? What did you do in high school? What are you majoring in? Why are you interested in this? What do you, like, they'll ask everything that, and you'll just constantly keep getting those same exact questions. So it kind of gets very tiring very quickly. And, for example, at Iowa, we have some sorority houses, like, out off campus, and we call them outhouses, and then we have some that are actually on campus, and those are called in-houses. So they're not all in the same area. So sometimes as you got further along, let's say I only had like 4 houses to go to, I could have an outhouse, then an in-house, then an outhouse, then an in-house, which means I'd have to be like going to the outhouse, getting done, walking out of there, getting on a bus, going to an in-house, getting done, going to an outhouse. Like, it was very stressful and time consuming, and those 2 weeks of your life will literally be the most stressful ever, but it's literally so worth it in the end. I remember I was really nervous because sororities obviously eliminate you too. Like, you don't get to pick and choose. Like, if you vote them number one, they don't have to like put you up there if they didn't really like feel a connection. So it was definitely very discouraging at times, because I would think I had a really good conversation, that I really liked that house, and then, like, let's say they dropped me and I was like, oh shoot. But the thing that everybody always says is trust the process, like trust the whole entire recruitment process, like the rush process, everything. And it's so true. Like, I look back at it, every single one of my friends are like in the sorority that maybe they didn't think they wanted to be in at the beginning, but like now they really enjoy it and they're really into it. And it's just, that's like the truest saying ever. You really have to be open-minded, and you can't come in thinking like, oh, like my grandma was I don't know, what's a Kappa, so I'm gonna be a Kappa. Like, that's not, and then you compare every other sorority to a Kappa. Like, that's not just how it works. So pretty much the whole recruitment process is just talking, getting to know them, bonding, and I know it gets so tiring because you have to be constantly like smiling and happy and peppy, and you don't want to say anything negative, and there are things you're supposed to stay away from talking about. I'm pretty sure I read this online like before recruitment, but it was like, I think it was like the 5 B's. It's like boys, booze, bank account, Barack, so like politics. I don't remember the 5th one, so maybe it was just 4 B's, but there's just certain stuff that you are supposed to stay away from, like that you obviously wouldn't ask, because I don't know, if you go in with any of those 4 B's as your main intention of joining, that's like obviously not the point of a sorority. Yeah, that's kind of self-explanatory, like obviously, like, yeah. A lot of people have also asked me, like, do I need to get letters of recommendation? And they're kind of wondering how, like, if they do really like a sorority already, how are they supposed to get into that one? So once again, I would just say trust the process. I really don't know any single person that went to the University of Iowa thinking that they were going to be in something and they actually got in it. I don't think I literally know anybody. Personally, at the University of Iowa, I don't really think anybody does letters of recommendation. The only thing that you really have to write down would be if you are related to a legacy of some sort of any of the chapters here. And just know that it is expensive to join a sorority. It is not cheap. The application fee or whatever to like even sign up to Rush is like around $100, and you'll get a little pamphlet actually in the beginning of the year, and it'll say all of the sorority names, and then it'll say how much it is to live out of the house per year. So that's what you'll pay obviously like freshman year normally, and then if you live in sophomore year, because you usually only live in for 1 year, which is usually sophomore year for people, and so then it'll say like the living in price for that when you live in, and so on and so forth. It'll give you more details about the chapter and stuff in there, so that's really nice. And I kept that brochure for so long, and I wish I still had it, but I just recently threw it away. I don't know why I did, but I did. And also know that it is a time commitment, and you are held to really high standards. You have to get a certain GPA each semester, or you can get in trouble for that. You have to be able to pay your like bills on time for the sorority, or you can get in trouble for that. You have to have like you want to have a good reputation. Obviously, like, you don't have to have a good reputation, but like, you want to have a good reputation, like, in your sorority house, and also like as a sorority as a whole, because whatever you do in your sorority shapes how others look almost. So it's pretty much like you really have to think about your actions and what you're doing and how they're going to reflect back on you, but not only you and your sorority too. So it's a very inclusive process because everybody is affected, but it's really fun. I don't know, I really enjoy it so far, and I think it's a great way to actually find girls that are similar to you and have similar personalities to you and that you really like belong with. I honestly like love hanging out with my sorority friends. They're like literally some of my best friends. They're the only people I really hang out with. But anyways, so that is called the rush process. So there are some other ways to get into a sorority if you don't do the rush process. So rush process happens in the fall, in the very beginning. There's also something else that's called formal recruitment. There's also something else right around the spring semester, and it's called informal recruitment. Now, informal recruitment is not the same thing. Informal recruitment, only certain chapters will offer that, so not all 14 houses will do it. I know my sorority personally, Pi Beta Phi, we did not do informal this year, but this is technically just where you go, and this is like another chance to join almost. And I mean, I think it'd be fun. I have no idea. I've never done it, obviously. Like, my chapter didn't do it, and I don't know anybody who rushed really for it, but there's another thing also right after formal recruitment ends, that if a house still needs P&Ms, which are potential new members, so in the beginning they'll call you guys P&Ms, and I'm considered like an active member because I'm in the chapter obviously and I'm initiated, so you will get to like learn that, I guess, and that's what your row gamma will call you all the time because you're potential new members. Obviously you will need like a certain amount, I'm pretty sure, in the house, and so that's why some do participate in it's called COB, which is continuous open bidding, which is pretty much that if they were interested in you and they liked you during the sorority process or the recruitment process, but for some reason you got dropped, or maybe you dropped out because you didn't think you really liked the sorority at the time or something, this is another chance to go, and it's pretty informal. You just go to that house, talk to some members and stuff, and then they vote on you later if they think you'd be a good addition or not. So I know that's actually how some of my friends got initiated and got into their sorority houses because of COB. But anyways, so then the fun part, the really fun part for everyone, is called bid day. So bid day, oh, this was literally so fun. I'm gonna like get comfy here. So bid day is technically the very last day. So pref day is where you go and you talk to two houses, and this is a pretty intense day because both houses really want you. If you've made it to pref day, they're both fighting for you. Like, they really both do want you. I don't really know how the whole system works because I haven't really gone through like recruitment training yet or anything like that, but I just remember that my row gamma kept saying, if you've made it to bid day, these houses both are really fighting for you. Like, they both really like you. So pretty much you pref the night before. Oh, this is like so scary. You pref your top house, so whatever one you liked above the other one that you had left, or the other one that you liked. And then the next day, so for example, for me, I had to go to the IMU, which is on campus obviously, and we had to go out back and sit outside next to our row gammas, and then eventually when everybody got there, we all got these little envelopes. I don't know, but we all got these little envelopes, and it just said like Jordy Nielsen on it, and we had to sit on them because they did not want us to try to look through them, and inside was going to be the card that says like so and so invites you to this chapter. And so you really didn't know if you got your first pick or your second pick or whatever, so that's what made it so stressful. But we were all sitting outside, and the row gammas all got up, and they got to go and tell everybody what sorority they were in, so they got like back in it so that we all knew. And that was really cool because my real gamma was actually in Pi Phi, so that was really funny to find out because that's like obviously the sorority that I had gotten that day. So then I just remember when they literally counted down to open up our envelopes, and I was so nervous. Like my heart was pounding out of my chest. It was literally the most nerve-wracking day ever. And then it just said like they cordially invited me to join or to be a member of Pi Beta Phi or whatever, and everybody was so excited. Literally after recruitment week, like you would not think you'd get emotional over anything like that, but after recruitment week and it literally being awful, like you're having to be not fake, but like you're having to like smile all the time and talk about anything that they ask you all the time, and like it's just a very stressful process, and you're dressing up every day. Like maybe I was getting up at 7 a.m. to like get ready and meet everybody, and then I wasn't going home till midnight. Like it's a very, very, very long process. So on bid day, when you finally get your house, and especially if it's the house that like you really wanted and everything, it is literally the most exciting thing in the whole entire world. I remember I was like jumping up and down and hugging every single person that came over. And then we all had the chance to run over to a park that's nearby, and we pretty much got to like meet our other sorority, like our older sorority members, just some of them though. So they were holding up signs that they were like, it was like a big blue arrow, and it said like Jordy on it. So I had to go over and get that, and then I got like my tank top, and I got I think a little like lanyard thing that said like VIP or something, and I like just got a bunch of stuff to put on, and they was putting like glitter on us, and it was so much fun. And then I remember we ran and got on a bus, and the bus actually drove us because Pi Phi is an outhouse here, so the bus had to drive us there. We couldn't just run to it if it like it was an in-house. So I remember we got on it, and they all wanted us to like sing the Pi Phi song, but like none of us knew it obviously, so we were all like really struggling. But I just remember how fun it was. And then we rolled up to the house, and our theme was like, I think it was like kickboxing or something. Yeah, because there was like a huge like kickboxing ring in like our front yard, and everybody, there was a ton of balloons, and all of like the older members were like jumping up and down, and they were so excited, and it made me so excited. It was literally one of the best days of my life. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend that whole process. That was so awesome. But yeah, bid day was kind of just like meeting all the members and everything, and then after that you obviously still have you have a lot of work. You have to go to like new member chapter meetings, and you figure out like fees and costs, and you get to meet everybody, and overall it's a super awesome process, and I highly recommend, and I really have nothing negative to say about it. Like I just think it's an overall like great thing to be involved in, and especially it's a good way to get involved on campus. I know every university really tries to encourage everyone to be involved in some way, shape, or form, and so I just think it's a really like fun way to branch out and try something new. So overall, that is my sorority process, and that is how recruitment went for me at the University of Iowa. Yeah, it was awesome, and I highly recommend it. And if you guys have any other questions, just let me know. Just leave them below, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.